Alright, so here's the deal. You guys, we're at day 2 now, which is a little bit of day 2 and finishing up day 1. Alright? So again, this is we know what we did. The posters, you guys had gotten started on them. So I don't have to elaborate. First period I had to kind of talk more because remember the lockdown drill, I lost time with that. So remember you have the additions. When you're doing your facts, think about this. And when you write your questions, think about this. Is it part of the endomembrane system? First period, the group that sits right there had it, and they have a really good elaboration, and they made an illustration in their poster. So what's going to happen is I'm going to come around and talk to each group. I'm going to check that you did your part, your homework. What was your homework?
To research.
All right.
No idea.
And you had to do facts for each of your 3. You had to do facts for each of your 3. Hopefully you and your group will be able to have 5 good facts that you'll pull together. So that's one of the things. So you got to combine them. All right. So are you filming?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So don't cut my head off. All right. So here's the deal. Listen carefully. You're going to work most of the class. I want to just kind of do the run through, get all my talking done now, because I'm going to come around to each group. And I did film it for one of the classes, got some interesting results. For example, think about this. Chloroplast group and mitochondria group. Listen carefully. So this is some of the things you're going to hear. So kind of listen in on the conversation. I'm going to walk up to them and, hey, they should jot this down right now. Chloroplast and mitochondria group. Here's a fact that you should have. And this is why I do it. I say, all right, after you spent the night looking up stuff, I come up and say, all right, these are things I want to look for. Some of that I told you last time. But chloroplast and mitochondria group, they definitely should mention that chloroplast and mitochondria have their own DNA that's separate from the nuclear DNA. If that's not a fact, then that's something you're going to adjust today before you put it on your poster. All right? Chloroplast, mitochondria group, does that sound familiar to any of you?
Yes.
All right? So those are some of the facts. For example, who did I talk to you last class about vacuole group? Did I talk to you guys? So, all right, what did we say?
There was 3 vacuoles.
There's 3 vacuoles. And I want you to think about that when we do the questions. Okay? And when you get to their poster, you're going to see something interesting. So here's the deal. This is day 2. All right? Each group is going to write the questions to their organelles. The students should be able to answer the questions based on what you put on the poster. We're not trying to trick them and say, I asked the most hard question ever, and you can answer it, yes. No. Okay. They shouldn't have to go back and say, what are you talking about? All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to go from group to group. This is probably going to happen at the end of class today or next class period. Okay. So after you complete it, then you're going to grade what all the other groups did for you. So let's talk about this. This is how this works. So imagine we're done. Which means today, you're getting your facts, finishing your drawing, say the first part of class, and then you're writing questions. What are you going to do? You're going to write your questions on a green sheet of paper. All right? And you're going to leave that piece of paper right next to your poster. But when you're answering other groups, you're going to do that on a pink sheet of paper. So, take a look at this. You're going to need to answer the questions for the other groups. So how many of these pink sheets are you going to need?
7.
Correct, 6.
Oh, great.
Okay, you don't have to answer your own. There are 7 groups. So you're going to go out and answer the other 6 groups. You're writing questions, everyone's writing questions, and you're going to go from station to station. And last year, this is kind of how we created it. So today, while you're finishing adding your facts, some of you should be making your answer keys, and this is how it should go. The group members' names, right? And over here, so group members' names and say group 2, all right? Now, this is the group that they're answering. So let's say I'm talking about group 2 now. So group 2 walks over to station 3, or poster 3. So they would write group 3, here's their questions, and here's our answers. They're going to do it. Then we're all done. They're going to give their answers to group 3, and group 3 is going to answer it, grade them. They're going to give it back to them because they properly wrote their names and their group back, all right? And actually, last year, I actually printed out a little grade form that the teachers use, and someone really liked writing it in there. I don't know. That's up to you guys. So that's the gist of this. That's where we're going with this. We're gonna have to revise or tweak things as I'm walking around, ask questions. I'm gonna say, hey, maybe you should consider this, draw this, blow this picture up. Those are all the things that we would need to consider. So, are there any questions? Let's see. Oh, you do want to make an answer key, but don't leave it on the table. Last year, someone put their questions, and they put their answers right on the same sheet of paper, and they're like, man, everyone got 100% of my credits. Well, of course, you left the answers out, so that's great. Your ego's good. So that's the gist of it. Just using color paper so we know a full paper for the questions. This stays with the poster as you guys are going to walk around, and we're going to go in order. Meaning, this is group 1, so what's the first group of posters they're going to answer? 2. Well, so we're going to rotate around the room. Obviously, 7 will start with poster group 1, and 1 will start with poster group 2, and you'll just keep going forward. That way we're not all bumbling into each other. One other thing I'll do is I'll say you need to pick a representative to be called back. Say, and this is how this works. Say group 1, they have group 5 is doing their question. They're not certain. They say, group 1, I have a question. So then you're going to come back to them and clarify your questions. And I think that's the checks and balances. I did it last year, and we got some really good results. And they didn't have the benefit of this. So I just kind of jotted this down. There's a guideline. How many questions do you have to write?
4.
How many organelles do you have?
3.
So I want 2 per organelle.
Oh.
This is kind of the reason why I have 6. Now here's the deal. There are some exceptions. For example, vacuole group. They're writing 3 questions about the vacuole, so they're going to just write 1 question about one of the other ones. I'll tell them which other one they can do it. So it's a general guideline. There's some exceptions. All right? But you'll know what they're doing. And you can make the questions any way you want. Any form you want. I've had some students just do fill in the blank, do multiple choice, do true, false, I don't know why. But it's up to you. That's a group decision. Are there any questions? No. So what I need to see now is the posters are back there. All the books should be out. Laptops. Make sure I don't have the dangling Medusa cords. And then, of course, colored markers and colored pencils. Group 1 gets group 1. Group 2 gets group 2. On down the line. All right.